How do you know when it's time to make a switch, to make a pivot in your career? That is what we're talking about in this video. Greetings, loved ones. This is Kudzi. Welcome back. The intention of this channel is to be a motivating and positive force for people to take action and change their lives, particularly young people who are trying to make it in their professions, because that's the content that I love, so I figured, why not? Again, this channel's motto is own your life, meaning use your story and who you are to live your best life. Why are they doing crazy stuff with the doors out there? And then two, make sure you take action and live the life that you want to live. So let's get into how to know when it's time to do a bit of a switcheroo, baby. A switcheroo. I'll talk about a little bit of my journey, which we spoke about in the previous video, so link down below, watch that one. But more so, not the actions, but the feelings, because I think a lot of life is really about just paying attention to your feelings. So we'll end this video with some tips on how to really nail that down and start working through that, because I think that's what helped me, and that's what I've just also been trying to come back to in my life, of just being clear about your intention and the feeling on what you want and really being aware of where you are. So let's do that. As you know from my previous video, I used to be an accountant and also management consultant. And while I learned a lot and like got a lot of skills that are really important, because you need to know how to use a spreadsheet, guys. You need to know how the numbers work. It's really helpful. You also need to know how to just be a professional in communication, being effective, presentation skills, everything learned in those early formative years. But at the same time, I wasn't always the most happy. I think I was definitely super grateful to have a good job, one that paid well, but I wasn't creatively fulfilled, and I am a creative person at my core. I am a creator. Like I like to envision things and bring them to life, and that wasn't kind of a job that let me do that all the time. So I remember just while being good at work and doing it, was feeling unfulfilled. I don't know if you know that feeling when you're like, oh girl, I'm not living to my fullest potential. If you know that feeling, comment down below what you're feeling right now and what you currently do and what you hope to do. But that's where I was. I'd wake up every day and it was wake up, work, home, rest, wake up, work, home, rest, wake up, work, home, rest. And I'm someone who likes to work really hard. So by the end of the week I was tired, which is normal, but I spent most of my weekend just recovering and resting and, you know, seeing some friends here and there, but really resting, because when I work, I like to go in, you know, I like to go in. And while that was fun, it means over time you're more and more kind of drained creatively and for the things that you love. And that's where I found myself. So I found myself in kind of, I would say, a darker place, like a place that I wouldn't want anyone to be. And I think you have to be careful about the words you use, right? Whether it's like words like depression or just feeling really sad, because there's actual clinical definitions. But I wasn't in the best place, and I was like, this is not gonna work. Like, this career like this, while good, is not going to work for me, because I want to live a happy life, like a joy-filled life. I like to work, so I want my work to bring me joy and life. And for some people that's not important, but for me it is. I'd love to know, is it for you? If it's for you, if you want a job where like it's like passion and something you love, write it down in the comments. Let me know what that is. I'd actually love to know, everyone that's watching. But that's who I am. So if you're someone like me, it's really important that, you know, it's not just wake up, work, rest, wake up, work, rest. It's like wake up, like excited to go work as hard as you can, and even when you're resting, you're excited for the next day. And that is what I actually wanted for myself. And, you know, to try work my way through that, I would create projects for myself to do. I would, you know, creative projects. I had like a mixtape once that I dropped. Y'all didn't know that, did y'all? I had a mixtape once that I dropped. I mean, dropped is a strong word. I just put it on SoundCloud, just some links. I would do videos. I used to have a reaction channel, which you'll never find in a whole other world. I used to post on here, and I used to write. I used to do a lot of like blogging, like old school, like, you know, when you used to write paragraphs, not like deep thoughts, like, oh my God, I'm so deep, but more so like about passion. I used to have like a music blog where I'd write about R&B music, which is my favorite music. What genres y'all listening to out there? And I needed them because it would give me this joy, but it still wasn't enough, right? For me, I'm such a all-in person that while those creative projects were really fun, and sometimes I miss that person. I was like, where did the Kudzi go? He used to do all the fun videos and music. But I think you can evolve as a person and grow. But I do miss him sometimes. I do miss him. But it wasn't enough. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it was not enough creative stimulation to counteract all the work that I was doing that wasn't fulfilling me in the same way. And I think it's really important to weigh those out, right? Because you can have your job and you can have hobbies, and for some people that's fine. Like, some people go golfing and like that's their thing, or the gym is their thing, or they're painting. For me, I've always wanted to fuse the two, like my life to be supercharged and what I'm passionate about, and it's also work and it's life and it's like one thing, because that's my kind of mentality. I don't know where that comes from. Who else is like that? Am I weird? Am I sounding crazy? Let me know if I'm sounding crazy, but that's who I was. So because of that, I still felt like I had this deficit of, why am I holding this coffee? Like I haven't even had one sip. One sec. Oh, just a deficit. There was a deficit of passion that I needed to bring to my life. And it wasn't until I watched season 25, the making of Oprah season 25 for her show, like the last season before she ended her daily talk show. It was like this docuseries on OWN, that I saw executive producers in action. And, you know when you see the credits and it's like associate producer, producer, co-producer, senior supervising producer, executive producer, like what do all these people do? Because I didn't know. Did my little research, because it's a lot of names, and if you're not from the industry, you don't know. But I was watching all these producers work, and particularly executive producers who would work with their teams to come up with a concept for the show, present it to Oprah, and then it's approved, and then they have to work with like the set design of what that looks like, the graphic design that show up on the screen, booking the guests, then the script, then making sure they're all coming together. It's like a vision, and it's creative. It's a really hard work. It seems like tiring days. I feel like you're working like 14-hour days, especially when you're producing, but it's all like creative, but also it should be in line with like the business, because this is a show. It's not just fun and games, but it's also challenging. It's also got relationships with people, but it's all like passion driven. I was like, that is the job that I want. Like that feeling, like I could just see like people living their life like so aligned and like into it, and like that's whatever they're feeling over there. Because yes, you might look tired because you're working so hard, but it's also creative and you're trying to bring this thing to life. And they would always be so happy when the episode is done, because it was like how they imagined it, which is why I always talk about vision and intention. I learned that from there, actually. It was what they imagined, and then it came to life. And I was like, this is the life, this is the kind of person that I need to be, whether it's for myself or it's at work. Oh, I just felt the passion. I just felt the passion again, just like talking about it right now. And that was like the real time when I realized, oh, I need to do a shift. It's not a shift because I'm not grateful for my job, I'm not happy. It's a shift because I know there's another way to live, that I want to live my life. And I'm really grateful that I get to do that in like my life now, and as I continue to build out my career, which is very exciting. So, as I look back, I think it could have been a little easier for me to figure out without having to go through too many emotional ups and downs. But everyone's story is the way it needs to be. So now that I think about it, here's some tips that I would have told myself or would love to just share in general. I'll put a little worksheet down below. It's not like one of those buy my worksheet things. It's literally just a template to write stuff down, because in this day and age, we don't need to be buying more ebooks, okay? It's like a free, just take it down. So I think step one is write down what you're feeling now. Like, what are you feeling in this job? Like, what are you grateful for? What's positive? And also, what are you not loving? Like, what would you love to change? So write them down in bullet points. Step two is write down what would you love to feel? Like, what would you actually love to feel in a job? Not like what would you love to do, but what would you love to feel? And then look at those and then say, with these things that I would love to feel, what's a possible job that I would like to do related to this thing? So where am I now? Because it's important to take stock. Step two, what would I actually like to feel? And then step three, what are some things that would help me feel that? And I'm all about, like, it's really important to write and not just type. Write that down. And then throughout the week, ask yourself this question and then rate it at the end of the week, or like whatever period of time. Would I be okay if I never got to feel that thing in my career? Because sometimes it's like, I want to feel powerful. I want to feel creative, right? For some people, they say it, but they'll be okay without it. For me, it's like critical to my being that like I get to create and be creative with my solutions or just general creativity. And I would not be okay living my life not having that feeling. And then I think when you get to the end of the week or whatever time period you set of journaling, cross the ones out that you're okay like not feeling. And then I think it leaves you with like core things to focus on. And I'll focus on like 3 to 5, not too many, because once the list gets too long, it's a mess. It's a mess. And then it's all about taking action. So, again, I always say, own your story, take action. That's my motto for like everything. So owning your story is really realizing you've taken stock of like where you are now, where do you want to be, why you'd be good at that thing, and why you want to feel that way, what that looks like. And these are the ones. Now it's time to take action. So if I'm left with, for example, I want to feel creative. I want to feel like I'm on the cutting edge, like always doing something new, fun, and fresh. That's really important for me. And I want to feel connected to people. Like I need a job where it's not just me and my thoughts what's in my only output, but it's about community and people. And what does that then look like, right? So is that just changing the work that I get to do at work? So is it like a different role? Or is it just taking on different projects, same role, different projects? Is that a new career? Is that a hobby? And then each one of those, make an action item to do that week. So what can I do today or this week or this month? And just give yourself one thing with a time frame. Don't make it like too complicated. Sometimes you come up with these long lists, and I'm guilty of coming up with hundreds of lists of things, and then you're just ending up with like not doing anything because you're just even overwhelmed your own self. Try to do too much. So give yourself actionable things. And I'm going to go through it one more time because I think it's important to reiterate. What am I feeling now? What would I like to feel? What does that look like? Am I okay living without ever feeling that? That'll help you cut it down. What are those 3 to 5 things? And what can I do this week or this month? Give yourself a deadline, just one action item per goal, and then set about the business of doing it. That's it. And I know it sounds like one small thing, but it's all about one small step. I think what you'll find is what I found when I decided to apply to business school, you know, the projects that I want to do at work, and, you know, taking the time to network with the people that will get me to where I want to. Everything started moving because you need to create some momentum. And if you don't start by like some action item that you need to get done by a certain time, you just will never begin. Oh, I felt that. I even felt that one for myself. I felt that I was going to write down my own action items, actually. I felt that one for myself. Honestly, truly. So with that, I would love to know what you want to accomplish in the next week, month, or year, or like some things that you're feeling that it's time for you to address, or even some realizations of, you know, maybe I wanted that, but I don't think I do anymore. So please leave down in the comments. I think it's really important that we build a rapport and a community of people that are trying to inspire each other and grow, because that's what I like to watch and that's what I care about. And I really think it's important to just take your life into your own hands and like take action to like live it the way that you want to live it. This coffee has gotten cold. Ooh, girl. So with that, don't forget to own your life and take action. Here are more videos for you to watch. There is a lot for you to watch, so just click one. Make sure you subscribe. And if you want me to make a video on anything else, just comment down below. Love y'all. Peace. Peace.